Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. And in support of that mission, we do these mentoring roundtables week after week after week. This is the 526th session. Over 150,000 people have participated. This has been going on since the fall of 2008. Every single recording is available on our YouTube channel. You can check them out. The channel is 1M1M Roundtable. You can join us on Twitter at 1M1M and at Stromana. Today's hashtag is 1M1M. These are the call-in instructions. Anyone can call in during the Q&A session. Anyone can call in, chat with me, ask questions, offer feedback, offer perspective, raise issues that you want to discuss, anything you want. It is a roundtable, it's an interactive roundtable. We do have a bit of scheduled programming first, which is the mentoring. So we are going to go there first. Just want to set some expectations for those of you who are going to pitch, whether it's today or another day. We are completely on your side. We have no other agenda whatsoever. So don't feel nervous, don't feel defensive. I will give you candid feedback, but it is constructive feedback with which I hope that you will be able to do something. So please listen, and then you can do whatever you want with that feedback. It's your venture after all. You can consider that feedback, decide how you're going to, deal with that feedback and so on. If you disagree, that's fine, it's your venture. Remember one thing, not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses are fundable. There is this incredible tendency in the world that I live in, which is the technology startup world, of chasing venture capital, without looking in any other direction, just chasing venture capital as soon as you start the journey towards entrepreneurship or journey into entrepreneurship. Now that is a misguided way of playing your hand. VCs are trying to go from 0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. That is hyper growth. And in the fundraising process, you're going to have to establish that you can deliver that kind of hyper growth. Very few companies can. So you're going to need to put your ducks in line before you can convince investors that you have the goods that it takes to deliver that kind of hyper growth. And that's the whole game. So our philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later. You will see me emphasizing that over and over again. But we work with over 500 VCs. So yes, we can introduce you to investors. Yes, we can bring you into our network. We can help you get funded. We have companies that we are getting funded all the time. So that's no problem, but you're going to need to follow the methodology. So it looks like Abhijit is not ready to pitch. We're going to go to Udit instead first. Udit Shah from Gujarat, India. Udit, please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, thanks Shramana for the introduction. I'm really pleased to hear about this initiative 1 million by 1 million, and I was so much excited from last week to present our business idea. So currently I and my mentor, who is also a founding team member, and she's based out of Canada and has 18 years of experience in marketing and business development. We both are working to build a brand in matchmaking category, especially in the niche of health and lifestyle. And our brand is named as Samphion, and our tagline is Match That Matters. Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is our team. I have pursued my MBA in international business from IIFT, and I have worked as a consultant in Middle East for banking clients. Post that, I had this experience with Maruti Suzuki India Limited, and currently I'm working as a founder. And I have with me Asha, who is working as a brand specialist. She is herself anti-human trafficking activist. And as I said, she has 18 years of experience in marketing across 3 continents. So I'll just now move with our brand. We are matchmaking brand in health and lifestyle niche, and our motto is to empower the best in human relations. So our product is the core USP factors of our products are the users can build their health and lifestyle profile in a very unique way, which is not available on any other matchmaking platform. On the top of it, we provide exclusive feature wherein the users, based on their expertise in their different health and lifestyle interest, can build their profile, get rankings on it, and can be discovered by other users. And lastly, on the partnership side of it, our team in the operations and control department is working to get the organizations and NGOs in anti-human trafficking and abuse domain to get the collaboration in terms of the brand and the CSR partnership. So that's the basic of what we are doing. The next slide, please. Yeah, so I'll just brief the problem statement from a profile of a user. It will help in understanding the psychograph as well. So say there's Akshay, who is working as an entrepreneur and he's working as an analyst, and he is loving yogasan and considers himself as diet conscious, and is residing in metro cities, and he's like tech savvy and spends 3 to 4 hours on smartphone every day. Now, Akshay is looking for compatible partners whom he can find according to his health and lifestyle interests. And he has checked all the offline and online mediums, but there's no one single platform where he can discover his matches based on his specific health and lifestyle needs. Next slide, please. So there are like other major pain points of Akshay as well. Like he is hesitant to ask the people in person if he's really interested in them. The second is there's no one-stop platform where he can discover the different profiles based on their health and lifestyle interests. Like say, for example, yogasana, meditation, walking, and there are like 10 different categories that we are catering to. And the third is we need to have this safe and secure platform with high proportion of genuine profiles. And when we say safe and secure, we are trying to inculcate that there are the profiles which are very, very genuine and which are very verified, and they have this intent of just finding the good partners for them. So that's the 3 major pain points that are for people like Akshay. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what we have come up with, we have come up with a matchmaking platform, that's Samphion. So Akshay finds this matchmaking platform and he takes a subscription, and that's how he gets access to the exclusive feature of our product. And in this exclusive feature, he goes to the yogasana category and finds the different matches, different profiles in yogasana based on their proficiency level. So there are like experts, there are like intermediaries, beginners in yogasana, and then he not only like finds compatible match on our platform finally post taking subscription on our platform. Yeah, next slide, please. So this is our core product. Like I explained the product problem statement and solution, and now I'll go on to explain our product. So it's more of a dating platform. And as I said earlier, the users can build their health and lifestyle profile in a very unique way. So say a user is having 3 different health and lifestyle profiles, like interests, then he can upload his photographs, describe them in detail, and also express his proficiency level, like whether he's a beginner or whether he's advanced level in that. And he can do it for this multiple health and lifestyle interests. Like say someone is interested in running and is also interested in yoga, then he can upload all this health and lifestyle interest along with his regular.
So one person can have multiple profiles, is what you're saying?
No, it's one profile only, but you can have this multiple categories where you can upload your photograph. So say if I'm interested in running and yoga, these are the two categories that I'm interested in, and I'm working on it. Then I can upload my photographs of yogasana that I am doing, and I can express my detail, like in 50 or 100 words, that I perform this type of yogasana and I'm following it from 5 years. And you can also have this drop down option where you can select your proficiency level, like whether you're beginner or advanced in yogasana. And at the same time, I can also do it for running. Like I'm running for say 2 years, and I appear in marathons and all. And then I can upload my photographs and describe it in a bit of a detail in 50 or 100 words. So we assume that people may have one or more lifestyle interest, and we are providing them provision to express it on our platform. So I have shown a snap of our UI. So like the interest one that is highlighted. And then if you click on the second tab, then the interest too will come. On the top of it, you can also upload your profession and everything. And these are the core product differentiators. Like users can curate their health and lifestyle profile. That's the first. The second is the safe and secure platform where no screenshots are allowed, and the user safety and privacy is at the core. The third is the users are incentivized by giving badge of honor if they help us in reporting the profiles that are linked with illegal activities, which is the case with some of the international dating platforms right now, wherein some of the profiles are not at all contributing to keep the platform safe. And the last is there's the exclusive junction that we are providing right now, wherein anyone can explore profiles in different health and lifestyle categories like yogas and fitness, walking, green living, mindfulness, exercise, etc. Next slide, please. So this is the model that we are working on right now. We provide 15 swipes a day for free, and you can explore 50 exclusive dates, like 50 exclusive profiles in our exclusive junction per month. And if you want to explore more, then you can have a membership wherein you can be in prime or prestige club, and depending on the membership that you're choosing, you will be getting the amount of profiles that you can explore. And on the top of it, we are also providing the profile uplift feature, wherein you will get more visibility across your preferences, and you need to subscribe for it. Next slide, please. So this is just a start, but we have like a vision of being a health and lifestyle platform, wherein we can say that if we succeed in the first aspect of it and we get more users, then we can pivot it to a health and lifestyle content launch. We can introduce online gifting, wherein the users can gift cards and the personalized messages. And lastly, we can also, as we have said, we are aiming to become a brand. We can become a merchandise store wherein we have our own clothes and everything. So customer acquisition strategy, mainly online, is influencer marketing, referral mechanisms, content launch, and employing growth hacks. And in the partnership front, we are trying to crack partnerships with brands in health and lifestyle category, like skincare brand and fitness brands and gyms and everyone. And on the top of it, collaborating with, yeah, that's too much.
This is one of the most critical things that you're going to have to figure out. And employing growth hacks is not a strategy.
Okay.
You have to think through in a very granular way exactly how you're going to acquire customers. So as I'm listening to you, what comes to my mind is the story that you told right at the beginning when you were talking about, let's say, Akshay, who goes to some yoga class.
Correct.
And would be interested in exploring relationships with some of his classmates, but there is no, other than walking up to them and asking, there is no elegant way of doing that.
Correct.
So one thing that strikes me is that there are a lot of different yoga classes and exercise classes and dance classes and Zumba classes and blah, 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 where people go and people look at other people, but they don't really know whether they're single or not or interested or not. So if you could apply a dating app on top of the class, that would be interesting.
Correct.
So So what I would encourage you to do is figure out a mechanism in which you can invite a class, an instructor of a class or or a gym or whatever, to create, create an instance on your platform such that there is like a private group of people who are exercising. Okay, you load up your profile and then here's your group, here's your class, here's your yoga class, and here's a private group for your yoga class. It's like private Facebook groups where all the people who are in there can be brought together, and then people can check out each other's profiles and see if anybody is looking, and who's looking, are you interested in the person who's looking. I think if you can bring together, let's say 1,000 groups like this, one, you have a go-to-market strategy, which is a very interesting go-to-market strategy. And two, I think people like the additional security of a known group. Small groups have trust, built-in trust.
Correct.
Which is hard to get. When you go out in the broader internet, it's hard to create trust. But small groups that are actually physical groups that are coming into your website from a physical touch point will have inherent built-in trust. And if you need a mechanism to bring those together, you have a way of customer acquisition and you have a way of establishing trust, which is invaluable.
Correct. That's a great insight. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure. So that was a great insight. Like, we'll try to figure out how we can just build that mechanism and build such smaller groups. And talking on customer validation right now, we have just launched our social media handle and our digital marketing experts are working on it. And we are getting engagement from the global influencers and life coaches who are having around 90,000 followers, or say 400,000 followers. Like, this is the skincare brand, and there is one of the actors who has worked in Disney Plus Hotstar, and she's commenting that we are waiting for your application. So it's not yet launched right now, but this is the pre-launch marketing that we are doing on social media handle. So this is the Randy Spelling who has commented on our handle that this is really nice. And I was surprised on when I talked with my mentor, and she told me that he's renowned life coach, and that's great that he's interacting on our post. Yeah. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So that's like a few other actresses and a few of the Instagram verified bloggers and influencers who are commenting on our post, who are having 1.4 million following on their handles. And we are getting lots of engagement on social media. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the challenges and questions. Like, we are currently based out of India. Like, I'm currently based out of India, and we are getting this international traction. So how to frame this terms of use and policy so that we can have this first question is, can we have a presence in multiple geographies at the same time in the initial go, because we are getting traction from the international markets? And the second is, if yes, we can have it, then how to go ahead with it, like terms of use and policy conditions.
So matchmaking is a local activity. It's a local to local activity. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to bring people together.
Okay.
So you're going to have to go kind of local geography by local geography, let's say city by city, to create critical mass in a particular city. So just because you're getting traction internationally, and it's not that you're getting traction, you're getting a little bit of social media attention.
Engagement.
Yeah. So far from traction, people paying to be your customers versus somebody putting a like on your post is a long
way. Correct.
So I would, I think if you're based in Mumbai, I would start in Mumbai and prove out the model in Mumbai and see if you can bring together how many yoga gyms are there, yoga classes, studios are there in Mumbai.
Like, there might be around, I think, 100 around yoga classes.
Okay.
For sure.
How many Zumba classes are there in Mumbai?
Oh, there will be quite less, like around 10 or 15, I guess. Yeah, but there will be
Okay,
10.
well, but I mean, you know where I'm going with this. There may be other
Mm.
kinds of
Correct.
exercise, spin classes or whatever. I mean, you have to figure out what are your different places. And I think if you can bring together, as I said, if you can bring together hundreds to start with, and then maybe thousands such groups, and get those groups to actually join your program in Mumbai, and this thing starts to flow. People start paying for it, and people, start becoming members and dating through it, and so on. Then you have created a proof of concept, basically, of what you're trying to do. And
Correct.
and that will also create lots of word of mouth and so forth. But I would start with working with these groups that can bring batches of people on and sign them up. So if you start working with these gyms and yoga studios and so forth, you will also get a sense of what does it take for you to bring these people on. Like, does
Correct.
the yoga studio, how does the yoga studio want to work with you? So there's a B2B element to it. And what does that do to your pricing? What does that do? You need to offer discounts. Is the studio going to pay something to offer this facility, et cetera, Because for a studio to say, hey, you can come and exercise here, but we also have a dating service. Hey, that's nice.
That's great. Yeah.
That's a
Correct.
nice
Correct.
differentiator. So,
Correct.
so that kind of stuff,
Oh,
may be
yeah.
interesting for the
Yeah.
studio to offer as an additional. And how do you package that? How do you price that? These are the things you need to figure out. Now,
Correct.
on fundraising, you have to go back to what I said at the outset. You can't fundraise at this stage of your game, right? You have to
Correct.
prove that you have a validated business that is going to scale and so forth before
Correct.
you can
Go for
raise money.
fundraising.
So
Correct. 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 Makes sense.
it's
Yeah.
too early for fundraising.
Correct. Correct. We are
You
like
hang
very
on, I will
initial stage.
explain a bit later. After I finish working with Abhijit, I will explain
Sure.
more about how to use 1 million by 1 million for raising money and so forth. But
Okay.
at this point, given what you have, I can't raise money for you. I can coach
Correct.
you to a point where you will be ready for funding. But if you
Correct.
came to me today and said, I want to be introduced to investors, and
No,
today
no,
I
no.
will not.
That's correct. Correct. No, I understand. I surely understand that. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Interesting concept.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Abhijit, you are up next. Let's go back to your slides. Here we go. Abhijit, are you on the phone? What's going on? Well, while we let Maureen work with Abhijit to figure out his technicalities, the line is open for Q&A. So you can use the public chat to weigh in, ask your questions, introduce yourself, tell me what you're working on, where you're joining from, etc. So let's do some networking while Abhijit and Maureen figure out the technicalities of why he's not on. Troy, don't send private messages, by the way. Send your messages to everybody, okay? Go to public chat and send your messages to everyone. So Troy Ash is asking, is Udit able to offer a perk to his customers that refer people that become paying customers? That's a very good point. Udit should offer an incentive to people to refer additional customers, additional people to his site. Absolutely. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Introductions. Where are you joining from? And what brings you here? Are you working on a startup? What are you working on? Manjunath Kaliur says, I'm from Mysore, India. I have a question. What can Udit due for funding, bootstrapping till ready for funding stage. Udit will need to bootstrap organically with, trying to generate revenues as quickly as possible, which is why I gave him an angle with which he can go straight to paying customers by going through these gyms and yoga studios and so forth, because this is not, so the early stage, if you look at the early stage funding cycle, it goes from friends and family or personal savings and working without pay to pre-seed funding, seed funding, post-seed funding, pre-Series A funding, small Series A, large Series A. So it's a very segmented fraction that you have to kind of climb through those rungs to qualify for higher and higher levels of funding. And the more proof points you generate that you can get to paying customers rapidly, velocity is a big issue in building venture fundable companies. So that's really what it's all about, is you have to bootstrap to validation and then traction so that you can raise higher and higher amounts of funding. Does that answer your question, Manjunath? You're very welcome. Anybody else? Any other questions? And what is happening with Abhijit? Any other introductions? Where are you joining from? Manjunath is asking again, is VC only the way out? We want to build sustainable business. VC is not at all the only way. You can build a completely bootstrapped business. It is no problem at all. You can bootstrap all the way. We have seen, you may have read about Zoho, which is a very famous Indian case study where Sridhar Vembu, the CEO of Zoho, has never taken a penny of outside financing, and he's running a company that is, about $800 million in revenue right now. So all of it is built organically. So no, not at all. VC is not the only way at all. Abhijit, you have your
Shramana,
audio
this is Abhijit.
There we go. Perfect.
I'm so sorry.
What is Artist?
My sincere apologies. I don't know, there's some issues and internet issues, I believe. I took extra time. Let me get started with your permission.
Yes, please go ahead.
Wonderful. Thanks everyone. It was a great presentation by Udit and great insights that I was able to listen and a lot of valuable inputs. Thank you so much for that. We are Artit. We are based out in Bangalore. We have our offices in Gulbarga in Karnataka. And we started this venture just 4 months back. I just want to make sure
where is Gulbarga?
Right. It's up north in Karnataka, in the state of Karnataka. It's a close vicinity to Mumbai and Pune as well. But it's up north in Karnataka.
Now in Karnataka, where you actually have a development center.
That's right. Yes, we have our office based out in Gulbarga, and we do have some team members based out in Bangalore. So that's our regional office.
Are you from Gulbarga?
Yes, I am from Gulbarga.
Very nice. I love these stories where, you take advantage of a small town and, Bangalore is so competitive talent-wise.
Yes,
I love
absolutely.
Where you take advantage of someplace else.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
So, yes. So this is us. This is Monica, she's my wife. We are married and we have 1.5-year-old kid. And it's all a story that is part of us that actually is one of the reason why we started Artit. She's a fine art artist. She's been also a web developer. We both have worked in startups, both in India, and I have lived and worked in Bay Area as well. I did work at NVIDIA and few other companies in Bay Area and across US. So I moved back in 2017. I began another venture, which is also in the similar creative tech space. So this is my second venture, creative tech second venture. Gulbarga was a favorable destination to begin because of the very easy go-to network and all the possibilities that one can think of. And I think last year gave us another reason to get back to where we are and get going with the teams that we already knew of. So I think somewhere this helped us to start with Gulbarga. But again, we've been connecting with all the networks and community across India. So I think that's helping us. As far as backgrounds, yes, I'm a musician. I'm a Hindustani vocalist and have been in the creative space for nearly 1.5 decades now. I was also into film distributions, a lot of event management, and I have been also actively working with some of the distributors, even today, who are based out in US and few other countries. And I'm into Kannada movies and event organizing as well in Karnataka.
Okay.
Well, that's a brief, my closest interaction with the art community. As I have closely been also working as an artist and with all the community friends here, we see a lot of challenges. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that in creative landscape of Indian heritage, there's several challenges, but broadly, three is what we have identified, and with the kind of trends and opportunities put together, we see the need to come up with structured contents, educational contents that actually echoes brand India. Several of us, we know we connect India with either food or culture or few things, languages. But when we actually, even as us in India, we look up where are the relatable contents, we hardly find very countable numbers, and especially the quality ones. I think that is also because we ourselves are not too much in depth understanding of, we don't have that much understanding of the contents and the culture up here. Right, so that's where our biggest challenges is, because people have taken for granted to come up with their own versions of everything. So that's where also the very problem that people are coming up with different versions of it. So we need to come up and identify a structured way of teaching few things in art and culture. And looking of resources, there always has been several way of how our resources have been framed in the traditional way, and for generations we've been introduced to several art and culture by gurus, in Gurukul system. Again, with time and technology adaptations, it is now important to bring technology to the forefront, reimagine few things, so that the next generation also take up more and more, in engaging and constructive way. So I think there is a lack of resources which actually have to fit into other sectors, and the way opportunities allowing creators or passionate folks who are into Indian art and culture to take it forward. So there's a surge and need to build up pipeline of a lot of resources, self-learning assessment or tools and applications around it. Importantly, we strive and we don't have a platform, or in what we call it as a community. Especially, it is so fragmented. Everyone, I think, every household has one artist, but when it comes to hand holding such an artist, a platform that goes missing, and there's always a question, where can I go about? So I think we either end up on the worlds of Facebook, Google, or reviews. We still are exploring several platforms. So that's biggest challenge and cumbersome experience a lot of Indian artists have. Today, the artists, even the well-known ones, they have been depending on like 15 platforms to promote one content, and then there is a fairly chance to monetize or get more opportunities. So the idea is to come up with a next level of a community platform, which can give a perspective and experience right from skilling, co-creation, and monetization. Somewhere we are trying to, while we do build up the community, it is important to start with education, and that's where our focus is. Our commitment is to bring more content relatable engagements through education and resources. We think it becomes responsibility to also drive it as a community. So that's where our third critical component is.
Abhijit, let's stay on this for a moment. I want to give you a few pieces of feedback.
Sure.
First and foremost, I love the fact that you're thinking about all this. I'm a huge art aficionado.
Okay, thank you.
I studied painting with, do you know of Ramananda Bandyopadhyay, this Indian
yes.
artist? So
Yes,
he
yes,
was
yes.
my teacher from 10 to 18 until I left. At 18, I left for America, but from 10 to 18, every Saturday morning, I used to go to his house and paint
I
for
see.
3 hours.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
so it was very much in that Gurukul tradition that you're talking about.
Right.
And and also the other thing that I've done in the last, 20 years is I've, kind of managed the musical careers of several of my friends because they didn't know on how to use the online channels. So I taught them
Right.
YouTube and Facebook and all of these things. And now, they're much further along. Their YouTube presence has been created. I have a YouTube channel where I've promoted many of them and so on and so forth. So it's a problem that I've studied quite carefully. So I'm going to start giving you a few pieces of feedback, and then we'll keep listening to your pitch, and I will weigh in as we go along. So from
Sure.
this one, the first thing that is coming to my mind is what is the primary purpose of your platform? Is education where you bring in all the different teachers of music and painting and, I don't know what else, but music and painting are easy places where people, dance, I guess, is one, where people go to learn from other people. Literature
Right.
is a slightly different thing. The tradition of learning to write from somebody doesn't really exist in Indian culture, but a dance teacher, a music teacher, an art teacher, these are very much part of culture and part of society. And I'm Bengali,
Right.
so in the Bengali culture, every child has at least one or two of those activities.
Right.
So what is your primary purpose? Is it teaching? Is teaching the primary purpose, or is it monetization of works of art, which is a much harder problem?
Absolutely. Yes. So our primary platform offering or purpose would be into teaching in a more optimal way, teaching where things can be learned and implemented, and where application of what they have learned is driven from in specifically in art forms. A lot of teaching, traditional teaching, it has been the kind of experience that while we were studying music, it takes years. I mean, that's exactly how the kind of art, Indian art, has been, like Gurukul, like I was mentioning about. Any art form for that matter definitely takes years. That nobody is questioning about that methodology. It has its own rights and wrongs. What we're trying to address is there is an optimal way of teaching, and the way today's generation students learn, that definitely it's at a better rate and faster rate. They learn multiple things in multiple ways. There are efficient ways of enhancing creative or cognitive abilities through art. There was not digital art just 10-15 years before, but with the advent of a lot of technology capabilities, one can learn any art form, be it music, be it any other fine art, in a more constructive way, in a more in different ways of combination. They can try things before, even if they create something. If that is the way we start bringing logical questioning, even in the way interactions or self-assessment before an art is created, I think it definitely helps them to become far better than what they can achieve after doing or undergoing a traditional skilling approach. We still are going on a philosophy that somebody picking an art has to understand the basics from the traditional offering, but the gap of where application of certain art form was there, I think that is missing, and we are trying to fill that. We're doing that by offering application oriented of a methodology. The use cases that we bring in will be fitting to the kind of what we are today and what it can take it tomorrow. So a primary purpose again, yes.
So my observation is, I think you have to still do some research to confirm it is the case, but I think in education of the arts, Indian arts,
Right.
I think there is a gap. I haven't seen any other platform addressing education of the Indian arts, especially the performing arts and visual arts. So if you can create one, you can create methodology, and each of those would have different methodologies, whether you're teaching, Kathak dance or Carnatic music, each of them will need their own methodology. And each of them have their own exam structures, the Sangeet Prabhakar and all that.
Right.
You have to weave all that in if somebody is actually working towards all that. So I think
Right.
I'm okay with you on the resources and education and, creating a methodology, and then you have to figure out how you set it up, how is monetization set up, and so forth. Where I think you should be careful about is actually monetizing artists. And
Right.
that part is a lot trickier, and I think it would sidetrack you from the core problem, which already is very complicated. Creating educational methodology for online education of these kinds of disciplines is going to take up many years for you to fully get right, and build enough structure and the whole. So I think you should kind of frame this not as education resources and platform, and you should just say education of the Indian art forms.
Okay. Sure.
There is another question that is going to come up. Sorry, there's another question that is going to come up, which is, should you do one of them? Should you do music or visual art, painting or whatever? Because doing all of them, again, is not so simple. So I wouldn't worry about languages. I wouldn't worry about traditions. I wouldn't worry about literature. I would work on the three fields where in Indian society, children are sent to, or teachers come to the house to teach, which is music, dance, and painting.
Right.
I think these are the three that Indian households are already used to paying for. So you need to tap into that budget and that already existing cultural behavior and insert into that a modern take on how a child gets trained in one of those three disciplines, one or more of those three disciplines.
Absolutely. We'll look into that. So maybe can I, in defense to that, the idea, I just wanted to add this, that yes, certainly there are, we started off experimenting with one or two art forms. What we realized is when there are platforms and service models or business models can be created horizontal, in sense, if K-12 can offer all the languages or subjects, we also are having a kind of network and capability where we can build solutions at least that addresses the basics and intermediate level of it. When it comes to advance and monetization, that's a bigger scope, and there are several platforms that can take it forward. That was one of the reasons why when we introduced the idea of both culture, art, and literature, and so on, so that we at least take a step to introduce the basics. I'm sure now it's the starting. Like you said, there are hardly or very few platforms who are actually focused on Indian culture and art forms. And with the kind of trend and opportunity we have just seen in last 1 or 2 weeks.
No, hold on. It's not that there are very few platforms focused on Indian art forms and culture. Facebook and YouTube are absolutely flooded with Indian art form, all kinds of Indian art and culture. Every single artist has a Facebook presence, has a YouTube presence, and they're constantly performing there, doing live. In COVID, I've seen Facebook Live being a very, very popular way that people are performing and reaching their communities. So it's not true that there are no platforms supporting Indian art and culture. There are two mega platforms supporting Indian art and culture.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say there are no platform. I meant for learning in a structured way. Learning is
a different thing. Yeah.
No, that's right. Yes, definitely. All of us have been using several platforms, and that was one of the point, that it is also becoming challenging and it's very tricky. Where should I learn in one platform, then monetize in another? So there are a lot of other things. Anyway, I'll take it forward from here. So solutions, yes. So we have 3 service modules today. It's an e-learning platform wherein we provide live one-on-one courses. We have recorded audio video contents. Very good pool of teachers in our networks that are currently offering live courses, personalized courses. Second is we are developing interactive modules, interactive kits and applications, so that self-assessment is also taken care, and importantly, learning in an intuitive way is carried forward, because at the end that is also critical. And with advent of AI, AR solutions. I think that's going to be the core of the both skilling and product delivery on the platform. We want to lighten up the very approach of skilling, the learning any art form, because I think the more intuitive way we present, I think, like I said, the result of learning some art form is definitely faster if there is several other immersive or intuitive ways available today. And we have experimented few on several students. I think they're liking that, and they are also picking up a lot of solutions and they're working on it. And it's just that amazing to see kids are picking up so well on all the tech for applications so quickly. So I think art is going to provide and give a lot of use cases for other sectors. Our third solution is building community around it. Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we've designed some toys and games. So that will be part of educational toys. Basically, that can also, as a bundle, toys and AR content is going to be the way how we want to train. Yeah. So why now? Needless to say, the passion economy is growing aggressively. In India, the national education policy was framed, and a lot of digital initiatives have been taken by the government of India and respective states, where they're also mandating the inclusion of arts at all levels of education. In fact, IIT Kharagpur and Kanpur, I think several of them have already started courses already. So with this academic year and next, there's a lot of structured content is going to be offered in all state boards. And the Delhi State Board is in fact for creating a new educational content and syllabus, just focusing on Indian culture and art form. So that is announced just 2 weeks back. So likewise, every state is taking initiatives to reintroduce their own language and traditions and culture. So that's another positive feed that we are getting from the government and boards here. Importantly, the opportunity is untapped, right? A lot of Indian culture and art forms, even from skilling perspectives, there's several talents, several exceptional talents and artists available in India. But I think when it comes to transforming their knowledge, I think we have not really managed to do that, or even rest of the platform are not able to do it. I think that is going to be huge for us. Example is if there is one raga, or if there is one composition, I think today I can get the best excerpts from best, let's say not just one, but I think about 20 to 100 such professionals. I think that is the way education should be provided. Today's student can get opportunity to learn from 20 gurus. So what happens is he knows what is the style and what is the gharana, what is the teacher and who is how this. I think that is the kind of education if provided early. The sense of comparability, the sense of intuitional and interactive learning enhances, and then cognitive. It leads to the cognitive, exceptional increase in that route as well. So I think we have to tap to that level of engagements and then bring skilling, all the courses around that. So that's why we are looking at. And last point is interactive contents. I think that is definitely the core of every offering. In my opinion, every content has to be driven on that. Today we have reached out and been working with B2C market, a lot of students, teachers, and artists. And we are working also with some of the organizations already on B2B space. At this point, we're offering only for audience in India, but we have interest also to expand to NA in the coming years. There's already more than 100 billion market is what we have gathered from various sources listed down in the slide. Opportunity is growing every day. At the same time, we're already there's a lot of rise of related and complementing markets and sectors are also proving to help us reach this market and even more, because like I said, every artist is getting better opportunities just in last 6 months. If you compare last 6 months to 1 year, the worlds of YouTube, Facebook has all have come up with their own versions of offering monetization. I think somewhere there is a hope now that talents can get better opportunity from what it was. I think we'll only continue to see more opportunities. And for us, getting the content, getting the right talent out with our skilling will be the core. So I think that's where we are focusing to onboard and help them to do and learn in a more structured way, so that efficient and professional content is out in the market.
Abhijit, this is not $100 billion market at all. You need to learn how to do market sizing. Your market sizing is completely not credible. There is absolutely not an ounce of credibility in the market sizing. You need to learn how to do market sizing for a venture. And I can talk about that afterwards. how to learn that, but please make a note that this is a huge gap in your knowledge.
Okay, thanks for that. I'll look into it. Okay. Yeah, so this is our current revenue business model. We have started offering several courses on pay-per-use. There are a lot of live courses and recorded contents, and subscription also available on these recorded contents. There's commissions on several contents that we create and co-creation that we do with some of our partners. There's a lot of courses and a lot of contents available on the platform is available on the freemium basis as well. Yes, we'll be transforming that to a personalized.
Is already out there, and you are selling based on these business models that you're showing here?
I'm sorry, I missed you.
Platform is already live, and you are selling on the basis of these business models you're showing there, or this is planned?
Yes, no, we are already live. It's live since last 4 months.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So do you have somewhere traction?
Yes, there was another slide on traction.
Further down?
Yes.
Here. Could you please go over that first? Since you just did the business model, I'd like to frame that in the context of the business model.
Sure. Currently, we're working with nearly 10 B2B customers, and we have about 11,000 precisely subscribers. But yes, 600 plus B2C paying customers. We have made revenue roughly about $2,000 now, and we
Okay.
are we are entering a contract. We are expecting another roughly about $1,500 of engagement for this month, partnership content, and yeah. So I think we've been we started off with offering courses, but now we are also working towards creating a lot of IP contents and applications. So that is going to be the next set of activities for next few months. But core offering is going to be both interactive contents plus live courses. So I think fairly revenue is started, but we'll see some traction there.
Okay. Now come back to business model and tell me which of these business models is generating the bulk of your revenue currently?
It has been pay-per-use.
Pay-per-use. So people take an instructional video and pay for that instructional video.
That's right. That's right.
And at what price point are you seeing that traction?
Well, there's several range of courses at this point, and our idea again to introduce subscription. Although there are few subscriptions, our idea is to come up with record.
No. Hold on. Just stick to the question I asked. If you look at the 2 lakh, you said your revenue is 2 lakh rupees, right?
Right. Yes.
2 lakh is almost $4,000. So if you look at that, how does that $4,000 split up into these pay-per-use? At what is an average size of a transaction?
Right. Okay. Sure. So about 45% or nearly 50% is pay-per-use. 30% has been on the subscriptions, and rest is all the commissions and commissions basically. So that's pay-per-use average has been nearly we charge about 500 to 1,000 rupees for per course. There are some courses which is about 4,000 to 4,000 rupees as well, and there are few consulting projects that we had taken up that was up to 25,000. So that's the kind of average sizing that went into commissions as well as pay-per-use. Subscription is the same price up here.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I get a sense of what you're doing. That's all I wanted. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So our focus now is to build IP contents in this year, hire key team. We currently are 3 members, but importantly, we want to bring on, we onboard several key experts, especially in the sales and marketing, so that we focus more on the B2B as well, B2B partnerships and customers. Importantly, develop sales network. That is the key for this year. And then there are a few things which is on the development of IP contents and educational toys and games. That will be the focus for next year is what we have taken up. The idea behind the strategy is to parallelly build several IP-able products, which in the form of both contents as well as toys and games, so that we balance both products and services in our offering. Because they're both kind of consumers, there's a market for both kind of offerings, and that can help us to stay competitive. Yeah.
Investors do not like this kind of strategy at all. If your goal is to raise investment, if you want to bootstrap, you can do whatever the hell you want. Not that I would recommend that you do too many different things, because that's not the way to scale fast, even in a bootstrap mode. Even you have to be even more focused in a bootstrap mode. But the point is, doing all these different things is very difficult to scale, and you need to hire different talents, you need to hire different projects. I mean, you have to manage different projects. And that's not how you build fast growth companies. You build fast growth companies by doing one thing really, really well. So I would strongly advise you to not spread yourself thin and go in all these different directions. Focus on one thing. These Byju's and all are not your competitor, I don't think. These are mostly test prep kind of businesses. I think what you're doing is something quite different, but there is competition. Like, Udemy, for instance, has your model to some extent of buying, courses, right, for a fee. You're just doing it on a very specific topic where I think nobody has that content, isn't it?
Right. That's right.
Right. So that's, that I think is an interesting thing for you to think about is, should you, I haven't really looked into whether it would be feasible for you to do it on Byju's, but if your primary thing that you're doing is creating video content and selling video content, should you look at selling that video content not just on your platform, but other platforms where there's foot traffic? Because generating foot traffic is not simple at scale. Like millions of people, bringing millions of people onto your site is not going to be so simple. So that's one type of feedback. Now, so the content is being produced by various teachers?
The concept, I'm sorry, can you please repeat last line? The concept is?
The content is being produced by various teachers, or if the content is being produced by you and your company?
Yeah. Right. So no, we started off with teachers. The answer is yes, it is done by multiple people, but we have been, the company has been, coming up with all the kind of curriculum and the content strategy around it. Our focus and initial run has been with the live classes, right? Live classes plus the curriculum that we offer is definitely unique. So that is the formula that our teachers are working on. Content that we are already, that is created, is something that is done on the strategy that we have built.
So the transaction,
and it is going to be, yeah.
The transaction revenue is a live class that somebody is buying.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So that is right. That is
good.
Right. Yes.
Good. Okay, and my other question was about geography. What is, where are you getting traction in India?
We have seen participation traction from across India, but mainly from 5-6 states, mainly Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. South India has been definitely more for now. We've seen good participation from UP and the North as well, even from Punjab and Bengal.
Bengal is where you need to really go aggressive, because this is so much part of Bengali culture.
Absolutely.
Every Bengali child has, one or two art or music teachers. So
right. Absolutely.
That's where you're going to get the real, adoption. I would say of all the geographies in India, Bengal should be a #1 target.
Yes. So yes, in fact, there was one of the course we did, which was offered by a Bengali teacher. So that is when we saw maximum participation. But yes, we'll be reaching out to more such geographies as well.
Well, yeah, I can introduce you to people in Bengal. It's
Oh,
like,
I would love to.
this
I
is
would love to.
so much a
Thank
part
you.
of Bengali culture. It's just amazing,
Yes.
actually. Okay, we've done this slide already. So, so tell me, what other questions do you have? I've given you feedback all throughout. So,
Right. Yes, so I think Shramana, you gave some good feedback. It's just that is the kind of everyday's fight that between us within a team or even when we meet about should we focus one, should we focus to few other components has always been something that we keep discussing. But yes, I would love to hear your insights in more specific the way our line of either consideration is because our idea is to provide fundamental programs, right? I mean, if I have to see the broader spectrum, we are positioning as a creative skilling platform for Indian culture and art forms. And for music and calling it for a category specific, definitely we can do a lot deep dive into it. At the same time, the opportunity as a business is also if we are able to, because we have partners, network, content creators, and teachers. So there's no lack, there's not much of problems that we might have even in offering. The model of offering is going to be through the platform, and every other service model is going to be same. It's just that calling it as only music versus art forms, will it help us? So I would need your insights on that.
So this is where you need to learn how to do market sizing and figure out what are the different market buckets, what are the different business models you're going to use. I can coach you on all of that. This is what we do in 1 million by 1 million. You're not ready to go out for funding right now. Right now, if you go out for funding, you're going to fail. But it can be, I think you have a very promising thing here. It can be properly, it has to be basically positioned properly, and the strategy has to be worked out so that investors can understand what is it that you're trying to do and can get behind it. For instance, 25 million USD in 5 years is not venture scale revenue. VCs are trying to go from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years. So you have to show a path of how do you get there, and I have to work with you to teach you the building blocks of how you create a business plan against which investors can make money and are willing to fund you. So I think you have a lot of ingredients here that can create something very interesting and potentially very successful. You have knowledge gaps that you need to fill, but all entrepreneurs have knowledge gaps, and you're a very intelligent person, so I don't see any reason why you cannot fill those knowledge gaps.
Thanks for that. I think somewhere along this comes a following question about the GTMs, like you said, positioning plus where I position the product and service models around it adds to the overall plan as well, I believe. But
yes.
Today, the kind of evolution, the trend of adapting technology is one side, but again, it comes down to monetization and questions around it, even for teachers and content creators.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a business strategy question. Your business strategy needs work, and why don't you hang on? Let me explain
Sure.
how to use 1 million by 1 million to everybody, and then we can get back to more Q&A if you want.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're very welcome. All right, folks, if you like that exchange, that kind of interaction, refer 1 million by 1 million to other friends and colleagues who are trying to be serious entrepreneurs, and we'll be happy to work with them. As you can see, the mode is not, I'm not telling you, oh, you're doing everything great and, giving you a pat on the back. No, I'm giving you constructive feedback and showing you where you need to work, where are the gaps in your thinking, and where you need to change to achieve growth, achieve, product market fit, achieve fundability. Fundability is a very, very important concept that you're going to have to understand, and you're going to have to, get yourself to it. Funding is your goal. If you want to build a company in a venture funded mode, then you have to achieve fundability. We can help you achieve fundability, and I'll explain to you how to use 1 million by 1 million to get there. So all our resources are at 1Mby1M.com. You're most welcome to start using them. There's a lot of free stuff. The blog series is very, it's free and it's very rich. The Upfront Journeys book series, there are 12 volumes of case study-based books. You could learn from those. These free roundtables happen every week. You're welcome to come back as many times as you want. You can pitch once, but you can come back and listen as many times as you want. The real acceleration program, the full acceleration program from 1 million by 1 million is the premium program. That is a $1,000 annual membership fee program. You get extensive methodology guidance. You get a great curriculum to learn from where you fill your knowledge gaps. We help you with business development. We help you to get to fundability. We help you with weekly strategy consulting. So we have interactions like this every week. And so yeah, I give you stuff to work on. You go process that feedback and come back, and we keep kind of tweaking. So you work in this mode for a few months, and then you're ready to be introduced to investors. When you are ready to be introduced to investors, I'll introduce you to, in one afternoon, in 25 minutes, you could get introduced to 25 investors. But I would recommend strongly that you wait to get your ducks lined up before you start knocking on the doors of investors. And if you come to me, I will only introduce you when I think you're ready and you can actually hold your, stance with investors, and that investors would resonate with what you're offering. And of course, we work with over 500 investors, and we constantly, refer deals to them. Go to the 1Mby1M self-assessment on the website. You will find due diligence questions. These are questions investors would ask you. You need to answer these questions. And it's better that you answer those questions ahead of time. You know how to answer those questions. If you're getting stuck, start doing some of the curriculum. The bootstrapping course on our website is free. It's pinned on top of the blog, just go do that. And then at $99 a month, you can access 1Mby1M Basic, which is our curriculum-only option. Very good starting point. You're very welcome to start there as well. If you don't want to go straight to the premium program, you can start there. But it doesn't have the interactive coaching. So go to the website, dig around, look at what to expect from premium, basic, FAQs, video FAQs, understand how the curriculum is structured. We are a case study-based program. We use case studies of over 1,000 successful entrepreneurs, and they're all in our network to teach you. We kind of created a framework where you can stand on the shoulders of people who have done it before, and that's very, very effective. The investor introductions policies are explained extensively on the website. There's a section that is dedicated to investor introductions. Please study that. Our methodology is bootstrap first, raise money later. So you do need to do some amount of bootstrapping to get yourself ready for funding. There's no choice on that. The only kind of money available at that stage is friends and family. So that's it. We have 3 more free roundtables the next 3 weeks of April. But in general, we're around. We're going to be available to work with you on an ongoing basis. We can take more questions if you like. There's actually a question from Manjunath. Is there a good platform to find co-founders, a cooperative platform for people who come together and work on a startup idea for the journey between plan idea to MVP to first customers? Manjunath, I do not like to see people doing stuff with strangers unless you're part of a certain community where somebody else who knows that person can vouch for that person. So if you meet somebody through a certain community, that's fine, but a random online platform where you just start to work with strangers is not necessarily a good thing. So I would say be wary of trying to work with strangers. A lot of people do MVPs. If it's a deep tech product, then you have to work with technical co-founders. Otherwise, you cannot do a deep tech startup. But if you're doing a startup where technology is one piece of the puzzle, there's a lot of other things going on. You can also outsource your MVP. And for that, you could go to Upwork and other sites where you can hire a technology team to develop your MVP. That's not difficult to do. I hope that answers your question, Manjunath. Folks, I'll introduce you to Irina Patterson while you are figuring out what other questions to ask. If you have questions about the 1M1M program to check if it's a good fit for you or not, and if you want to talk to somebody on our team, Irina would be a very good person to talk to. So you are the tech guy. That's great. If you're the tech guy, then you should learn the marketing and biz dev part, which is something we teach extensively. One of the things we do very well at 1Mby1M is to teach technical people how to put one foot before the other and build a business. There's a very, very, very successful methodology that we have created, and tech people tend to be high IQ people, and they can learn what needs to be learned. So I have great confidence that if you work with us at 1Mby1M, we can teach you what you need to learn. Very good. I look forward to working with you, Manjunath. So anybody else, any other questions? Udit, Abhijit, do you have any other questions? Did you get what you wanted to get from this program?
While our presentation, you fairly brought out some important points. I've noted for now to, yeah, I have noted them to take a dive into them and maybe discuss once again when I get a chance. But
yeah.
And you have the recording that is going to come out tomorrow. So you know, whatever you've missed, you can also refer back to the recording and pick up from replaying the recording.
Oh,
correct,
wonderful.
correct. Shramana, just one question, that how can we remain in touch, like in terms of getting mentorship? Like we can sign up with, we can join the program.
If you want mentorship on an ongoing basis, you should join the premium program.
Okay, okay.
And then you will get invitations to come to the roundtables, the private roundtables. We have, for the premium programs, we have private roundtables every week. You can come talk to me on a weekly basis.
That's great.
And you have access to the curriculum.
Great, great, great. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. What else? Anybody who hasn't spoken up or asked questions, would you like to say anything, ask any questions? Manjunath says, it's a joy to watch experts work on their art form. This is awesome. Great. You know, I actually look at my work as my work of art as well. You know, it is an art to be able to teach people who are starting out. And I have considered it as a work of art as well. Manjunath, I have very high hopes for you. The more you're telling me about your technical prowess, the more I'm confident that I can teach you the business side, no problem. And both of you, Udit and Abhijit, you guys, if you decide that you want to be in the program, I'm very confident that I can coach you to get to where you want to get to.
That's great. Means that's a great support from you and confidence in our ideas that we can go ahead with it. I just talked with my mentor on chat that this was the insight that Shramana gave, and she was like, "That's really great. Like we can work on it in terms of partnership."
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I try to give you actionable insights. Exactly. That is one of the things that I've tried to do all along is actionable insights.
That can actually help us in cracking sort of initial acquisition, customer acquisition.
That's right. That's right. All right. Very good. So we will continue the conversation next week. Be well, make lots of progress, and stay safe. Those of you who are in places where the pandemic is rising, try to get vaccinated as quickly as possible and do not get sick. Good luck, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Thank you,
Bye.
Shramana, for validating. Thanks for all the insights and wonderful thoughts that you shared today. We look forward to connect you soon.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. Thank you so much. Thanks, Maureen. Thank you.